Thanks Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Calendar blocking is one of the most commonly used techniques in the productivity space. It allows you to block in your schedule or calendar the time you need to spend tackling a specific task or going to a certain event. This micromanagement system can be incredibly useful if you need to juggle a lot of areas of interest or different parts of your life. It can also be very useful if you have an uneven routine and really can't commit to doing the same things every single day. And it's also very useful if you just want to get a bird's eye view of how you're spending your time and what you're prioritizing. However, despite being incredibly useful, engaging in calendar blocking incorrectly can become pretty overwhelming pretty fast. So it's important to understand whether we're making some basic mistakes that are basically removing all of the beneficial features that this specific technique has to offer. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about calendar blocking, I'm holding 2 sessions, 2 virtual workshops. The first one is taking place tomorrow and there are a few spots available, and the second one will take place in February. So I'll link all the details down below in case you're interested. So mistake number 1, you don't add everything to your calendar. For calendar blocking to work, no task is too small. Unless the task you have at hand is totally ingrained into your routine and schedule, and there's literally 0% effort in tackling that task, it needs to go to your calendar. Adding everything creates accountability, allows you to stay on track with your tasks, and mostly, it's not jeopardizing the overview of the cost of your time. So think of your calendar as a budget for your time. So basically, if you're creating a personal budget and you forget some very important things like shopping for groceries or your health insurance, and you forget to add those to your budget because you think it's irrelevant, because they are fixed expenses that you're forced to spend every single month, what happens is you're not looking at the real scenario of your financial health. Basically, you end up ruining the whole budgeting effort because you're manipulating your real financial scenario. And the same thing happens with your calendar and how you schedule things in it. Also, you need to make sure you're making it a part of your routine. Calendar blocking for 1 week and then forgetting all about it afterwards is as good as nothing. This is that type of time management technique that benefits from being deeply ingrained in your routine. Having your calendar nearby during the day, for instance, as an open tab on your computer as you work, ensures you're staying accountable for your time and the tasks you set out to do. Also, mistake number 3, you're not being detailed enough. Your calendar is a budget of your time, but it's also a timeline. It's basically a plan of your day that allows you to avoid decision fatigue as you're working. If your plan isn't detailed enough, it's very hard to follow because when you reach a certain hour of the day, you're not exactly sure of what you should be doing. So let's take an example. Imagine you schedule to study for an exam from 6 to 8 p.m. You create the event in your calendar and call it study for exam. But here's a problem. What does studying mean in this case? Should you be creating outlines or mind maps, skimming through your textbook, reading a specific chapter, going through mock-up tests? So it's important to add this detail to your tasks, whether it's in the title, in the notes section, or simply by overlapping detailed tasks on top of a more abstract event. So one of the biggest benefits of calendar blocking is that it treats your calendar as a to-do list. So it's basically kind of a fusion between your calendar and your to-do list, and these are your top productivity tools. And here's the thing, what makes to-do lists so satisfying is that as you tackle your tasks, you're able to cross them off your list. It's kind of a weird motivational boost, but it's what it makes it so effective. So in your calendar, just tick off the tasks in the same way. You'll see that looking back at your week and realizing you have been doing so much work feels a lot better than leaving everything blank. If you're engaging in a proper calendar blocking routine, it gets really addicting really fast to see that when you look at your calendar with a bird's eye view, you have so much time to accomplish all the things you want to accomplish. However, we soon get into the habit of scheduling everything back to back, leaving zero room between tasks. Buffers are important for 2 main reasons. So first of all, they act as well-deserved breaks that allow us to rest and recharge between tasks. The more packed your schedule is, the more prone to burnout you become. So scheduling these breaks, and long ones at that, is fundamental. Secondly, buffers are really important to ensure your schedule doesn't fall off track. If you take longer than you were supposed to working a specific assignment, the fact that you're late half an hour can jeopardize the rest of your day and derail your schedule. So whenever you add buffers to your calendar, you are ensuring that when something goes wrong, and believe me, it will go wrong, you are not completely jeopardizing your whole schedule. Okay, so here's the thing. Color coding is supposed to help you and simplify everything and not completely overcomplicate your organization system. Even if it's aesthetically pleasing, if you're using 10 colors on your calendar, you simply lose track of what those colors even mean. So go simple and pick 2 or 3 hues only and try to connect them to different areas of your life. For example, in my own personal calendar, I use only one color for work-related tasks and another color for personal tasks. Whenever I need to distinguish them further, I pick a darker shade to pinpoint meetings, important appointments, and so forth. So while some tasks can be programmed and scheduled to be completed at a certain time of the day, other tasks really don't have this kind of appointed time in your schedule. So they're more like daily tasks, and you can really take advantage of that. If you're using Google Calendar, for instance, just mark a task as all day and it will jump right to the top of your calendar. When you complete it, you can check it off your calendar without worrying too much about finding a specific slot to insert it. In our daily lives, and this is especially true if your work depends on other people or other external factors, it's really common for us to have all of our tasks, meetings, and events rearranged all the time. And here's the thing. This doesn't really affect the quality of our time blocking techniques, and it really shouldn't be detrimental to our time management. When you have to reschedule something, just replace it with another task in your calendar with the same duration. This is also applicable when you really don't feel like doing a particular task you had scheduled. You know, be disciplined, but also allow yourself to breathe a little. This way, when you move things around, you're just rescheduling and rebalancing your workflow, and you're not completely destroying your productivity in the long run. And if you want to learn things slowly, improve your knowledge bit by bit, consolidate your skills, and go at your own pace, I highly recommend you to check out Brilliant. Brilliant is an interactive learning platform that teaches about math, science, computer science, and many other subjects. The whole concept behind Brilliant is to allow you to be very hands-on, so you can learn a lot of new things without ever having to memorize things or read entire textbooks without ever putting what you learn into practice. And if you're like, oh, I'm really not that much into science, wait, because Brilliant has more to it than it looks. For instance, you can learn more about making decisions, problem solving, resource trade-offs, how to organize information, and you need literally no previous knowledge for that. And that's the beauty of Brilliant. They introduce you to science concepts by showing you how it works in the real world around you. So you never have to say again, oh, I'm terrible at math, or I just can't understand how physics work. That shouldn't be a handicap for you because you just need the right resources and the right way of learning to start getting it. I particularly love, for instance, the cryptocurrency course because they take this idea that is so abstract and they really show you how it all works, which is absolutely fundamental if you ever thought about investing, for instance. So if you want to subscribe for a full year of Brilliant, there is a 20% off discount if you click the link down below. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys!